Zach is going to start this episode in Cambridge, Nebraska. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm good. Thank you for having me on today.
My pleasure. How can I help?
Yeah. Hey. So I am the owner of two kind of small town grocery stores. I have a 25% ownership in the store. The other 75% ownership is actually my parents. And last year, our revenue, my wife and I guess I should say, our revenue last year was, we took home about $140,000. And so my question for you is, my parents are looking to kind of retire, and we are trying to buy another 50 or another 25% of the ownership, or of the, and that will put us at 50% owners. And we are kind of valuing that about $500,000 is what it would be to purchase that other 25%. And I know you have experience in that and having family members come up and take over the reins. So I'm just kind of curious to get some input on your behalf on some of the ways that we can do that without having to go to the bank to take out money at an 8.5% interest rate right now.
Which would be suicidal.
Agreed.
Why only 25%? Why not buy the whole thing?
That's a good question. I guess I don't know why. My parents they're trying to look at this to still have a little bit of a revenue stream to come in. And this is two small grocery stores as well. So we are definitely in like the treadmill operator stage on both of the stores. Logistically, it would be tough for me to try to run both of them right now anyway.
If they're going to retire, somebody's got to run them.
Very true.
I mean, he's not, Pop's not working anymore, so who's going to run the other store?
There is people in place there that could definitely run the store.
Okay.
It's just a matter, I think, of coaching them up enough in the next couple of years or whatever the case may be to run the store.
Yeah, before you buy it, that's got to happen. You got to have somebody to run it because he's going to retire, whether it's 25% or 75%. So if we were to run the P&L on the stores, the profit and loss statement on the stores, with a manager running the other store and you running the store that you're in, what is the net profit after those expenses? Not paying Dad anything because Dad's gone. What would be the net profit?
So last year, the net profit, if you would just go for both stores, the net profit probably for last year, both stores was around $400,000.
Okay. All right. And so this is worth, 500 is probably pretty close for a fourth of it. Okay. No, it's not either. Wait a minute. No, it's not worth $2 million. No. I wouldn't pay 5X. Not with that. Probably worth 4X. So you might have it a little bit overpriced. But anyway, let's pretend we settled, instead of on $2 million, we settled on $1.5 million being the actual value. You already own 25%.
Correct.
So, let's call it 1.6 for easy math. All right. So you own 400 of that. You owe them 1.2, and it makes 400. You could pay them out in 3 years if you gave them all the profits.
Okay.
So the deals that we have structured and shown people to do for years. Do you have brothers and sisters are there other heirs?
Exactly. There are other family members that have, maybe one sister-in-law has expressed some interest into the business. She does currently work for me at our store. Mm-hmm. Her husband has not necessarily shown interest. And then, yes, I do have two other siblings, but they are not interested at all in the grocery business.
Okay, so if you bought the whole thing and Mom and Dad got paid fairly, is anybody going to be torqued off?
One would hope not, I guess.
Well, yeah, you'd hope not, but that wasn't what I asked. Are they really going to get sideways? Because you're getting ready to announce this if we do the deal. Okay, so let's pretend that that we value the 75% remaining at 1.2 for the fun of it. Okay, you can do whatever you want to do. Y'all come, but here's how we've skinned the cat. Here's how we've done it before. Instead of getting tied into a fixed monthly or annual payment on a fixed amount of debt, then COVID happens or something happens and you get a competitor in across the street or some kind of an unseen variable hits you guys between the eyes, and your profits go way down and suddenly you can't even make the payments that you owe your parents, that gets really problematic.
Okay.
Instead, what the formula we've done is we said something like, I'm going to continue to make 140. I'm going to pay the other manager, and that should generate $400,000 net profit after those two things are done. That's what you told me, right?
Yep.
And so, Dad, we're going to give you 80% of the net profit until we get to $1.2 million. The other 20% is held back for retained earnings.
Okay.
And so, if you did that, that's going to take you 3.5 years.
Okay.
If you give him 80% of the profit. Every month, you close the books, you hold 20% for retained earnings, you pay yourself the same salary you've always made, and you buy him out of the 75%. He takes that money and invests it and lives off the investments.
Okay. And Dave, you said you do that every month type of deal, so every month you would close the books, 80% would be paid, and 20% continue.
That's what I would do. I'm making that number up. It could be 90, it can be 75, but you need to give a big, hairy chunk so this doesn't go on for years.
Sure.
It's done very quick. I like it in a 3 or a 4 year period of time. You're clear.
Okay.
Because it is because as long as he's worried about the profits, he's going to be in your business. It'd be very hard for him to stand back and say nothing. He's going to have blood trickling down the side of his mouth because he's biting his tongue. He's going to be questioning everything you've done. You've been working together a long time. He trusts you, but now his livelihood is dependent on your business acumen to create this. So I want to shorten the time that stress is on your all's relationship by giving them the most I can give them reasonably, okay? 90%, 80%, something like that, to where the more we give him, obviously, the less time this deal is going to go. And then he's going to have to take that money and turn around and invest it in good mutual funds with a good SmartVestor Pro and, get set up here to take care of himself because he's not going to live out of the stores his whole life.
Yep.
Now, in our case at Ramsey, we didn't do any of that. All we did was just give it to the kids. The kids already own 99% of this business. I own 1%, and I own the only voting stock. Okay, so I'm still in control. I can still do whatever I want to do. I can still pay myself the whole thing, which I do, all that stuff. So, but at some point when I'm done, either dead or whatever, I've been managing this for God. They get the opportunity to manage it for God. I don't need money out of it to live. My wife doesn't need money out of it to live. I will wander off into the sunset in some form or fashion, and they will become the owners. And they paid nothing for it. But I paid nothing for it either. God gave it to me. So there you go.
Yep.
But that's different in this case. That your dad's going to need some money. This is his asset. He probably doesn't have a bunch of other money. And so you're probably going to pay him something. And your brothers and sisters are going to want their share, or your parents are probably, I don't care what your brothers and sisters want, it's not their money, but your parents are probably going to want to leave some money to the other kids and not just give you the grocery store, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is correct.
That's fair. I mean, that's reasonable. But then once this deal is done, I want y'all to tell everybody what the deal is. All the brothers and sisters, the in-laws, everything. This is what the deal is.
Okay.
And then if you choose to treat one of your team members, which happens to be your sister-in-law, give her somehow the opportunity to buy into these stores over the years, that's up to you.
Okay.
But it's not a requirement of the deal for me. I wouldn't do, it's, she's not blood and it's not hers. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. Y'all can make this up as you go, but I would not go and borrow $1.2 million on an SBA loan, and then the first time things turn down, you're cleaning the Campbell's soup off the shelves trying to stay open. It just scares the crap out of me. No way I'm doing that deal. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.